Good morning, third graders. Ms. Fogelman here for your math lesson today. So let me share my screen and we can get started. Okay, so today is November 10th, and we are working on addition and subtraction of large numbers. Our learning target today is that the student will be able to use an open number line to complete a subtraction problem. Before we begin, I wanted to play this video to review with you the larger number addition and subtraction.
Second graders can use a number line to subtract two 3-digit numbers. Since 264 is our biggest number, the number that we're subtracting from, I'm going to place that at the end of my number line. So that's going to be the biggest number on my line. I know that I have to make hops of 128 spaces to get the missing add end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down again by place value into hundreds, tens, and ones to make it easier. I'm going to start with the hundreds. So if I have 264, I'm going to hop backwards 100. And I'm going to write minus 100 to show that I'm going backwards. If I take 100 away from 264, I have 164. Now I'm going to hop 20 spaces back. I'm going to write minus 20. If I take 20 away from 60, I get 40. So 164 minus 20 would be 144. Now I have to hop 8. Well, again, we can break this up to make it easier. Since I know that 8 is 4 plus 4, I'm going to hop 4 backwards to get to 140, because it's just easier to figure that out. But I have to hop another 4. And if I take another 4 away, I know I'll be left with 136. That's using our knowledge of doubles. So my missing add end is 136. But again, say you didn't want to hop backwards. Okay, and let me just double check that that's 120 and 124 and 128 that I hopped. But say that you don't want to hop backwards because it's too confusing. Again, you can solve this like an addition. We know that if we add the two add-ins together, we're going to get the total. So that means if I start at this number and hop this amount, I'll get to my total. 264 is my total, so I'm putting it in the same spot. I'm going to start at the add-ins that I know, at 128. And I'm going to hop forward until I can get to 264. So if I have 128 and I hop 100, that'll get me to 228. So I think I can only hop 100, otherwise I'll go over. If I hop 200, I would get to 328, which is too much. So I'm going to make one hop of 100. And since I'm adding 100. So now I'm at 228. So at 228, and I need to get somewhere in the 264, I know that if I hop 40, that would get me to 268, and that's going to be too much. So I'm going to just hop 30. And if I add 30 to my 20, that will give me 268. 258. I'm getting closer to 264. To make it easier, I know if I hop 2 more hops, I'll get to 260. So I'm going to add 2. And I land on 260. And now I know I only have 4 more to go. So I'm going to add 4. I'm going to count how many spaces I've hopped. 130, 132, 136. So my missing addend is 136.
All right, so let me pull up my slides again. Goodness. This is where sometimes my computer does not want to get out of the screen. Oh my goodness. Oh, nope. All right, there we go. Sometimes the 4th time is the charm. Okay, so today we're going to do our own problem on a number line. Before we do that, Ms. Vogelman needs to grab her pen. All right, so our problem is Allison and her family are driving from Columbia, Maryland to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for vacation. The total trip is 542 miles. After driving 297 miles, they stop for lunch. Allison is wondering how many more miles they need to travel. So what information do we know in this problem? We know that their total trip to Myrtle Beach is 542 miles. We also know that when they stopped for lunch, they were 297 miles into their trip. So Allison is wondering how many more miles they need to travel. All right, so because they've gone part of the trip and want to know what the rest of the trip is going to be, in other words, how many more miles they have to go, I know that my equation is 542 minus 297, okay? So I'm going to do, the lady on the video showed you 2 different ways to do subtraction on a number line. So I think I'm going to choose to add up today. Okay, so my ending place has to be the higher number, okay, 542, and I'm starting at 297. Okay, because you wouldn't want to put the larger number over here because then you're not adding up, right? Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I know I'm in the 200 range here and I want to get to the 500 range. So I'm thinking if I add 3, that's a little too much. So let me add 2 sets of 100. So 200, I'm going to do add 200. Okay, and that puts me at 497. I know that I'm very close to 500, right? Because I have this 97 here. So I think I'm going to add 3 to get to 500. Okay. And then it is very easy for me to add the rest of the number because I'm at a multiple of 100. So I'm going to add 42. Okay. And I've gotten to my ending point. Now, if you don't feel comfortable adding the numbers that I did, you can always break it down into smaller numbers, 50s, 100s, 10s, okay? So now we have to add up these 3 numbers to get our final answer. So what is 200 plus 42 plus 3? So 200 plus 42 is 242. 243, 244, 245. So the answer is 245 miles, right? Because that's how long they have left to go. So I'm going to put an M there. Okay, so here's our equation. Here's the difference between those two numbers. Okay, and did we answer our question? Allison is wondering how many more miles they need to travel. Yes, we did. They need to travel 245 miles. All right, so let me get my mouse back so we can. All right, there is a subtraction word problem in Shobi. Make sure you complete that today. And how does this strategy show us the relationship between addition and subtraction? So I want you to think about that for a little bit, and we're going to continue that discussion tomorrow. How does this strategy show us the relationship between addition and subtraction? All right, make sure you get that work done in Shobi, and have a great day.